everyone. Welcome to the Zone to Speak podcast. I'm your host, Juliana.
Hey everyone. At Zone to Speak, I know how important it is to stay healthy, strong, and ready for every ride, workout, and adventure. That's why I am sharing some amazing discounts on products I personally love, designed to support your health, performance, and overall well-being, whether you are an athlete or just looking to feel your best. Psych Plus. Their smart pump is a game changer, compact, efficient, and perfect for keeping your tires road and gravel ready. Plus they have radar tail lights, smart trainers, smart fans, and more. Get 10% off the smart pump and 5% everything else. 15% off New Zest. Fuel your body with clean, plant-based nutrition. Their clean protein provides a high-quality, easily digestible protein source with no artificial additives. Perfect for recovery and sustained energy. Plus they have Good Green Vitality, which is packed with essential vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants to support your immune system and overall wellness. 20% off First Endurance, top-tier endurance nutrition designed to support hydration, recovery, and sustained energy for long days on the bike or any endurance activity. 35% off Frey Skincare, made for active lifestyles, designed for skin that sweats. Their all-natural vegan and cruelty-free products keep your skin protected and fresh. I have been using Frey for about 10 years and my skin stays young and has never had a breakout since. 10% off Cold Age, high-quality supplements to support your health, from multivitamins to probiotics, collagen, and more. I personally take the women's fermented vitamins, the collagen, and creatine. 10% off Clearly Not Coffee, a delicious coffee alternative made from functional ingredients like mushrooms, maca, cinnamon, and rhodiola, designed to give you calmer energy, sharper focus, and immune support. I take this every morning. I love how it tastes, and I don't have any energy crash during the day. 15% off Omre Supplements, premium supplements to support your training, recovery, and everyday health. And there's something special from me, your host. As a certified integrative health, nutrition expert, and holistic life coach, I'm offering 25% off personalized nutrition and life coaching with Genki Wellness. If you want to optimize your health, improve your energy, or simply feel your best, head to bemoregenki.com. For all discounts, check out the episode description. Use code ZONE2SPEAK at checkout and let these incredible products support your health and performance. Now, let's get into the episode. All right. In this powerful and inspiring episode of Zone to Speak, I welcome Kai Luan, a 4-time U.S. paracycling national champion whose journey embodies resilience and determination. Diagnosed with osteosarcoma during his junior year of high school, Kyle underwent a right below knee amputation. Remarkably, within a year, he returned to competitive sports, initially in martial arts, before discovering his passion for cycling. Now an accomplished paracyclist, Kai is also a dedicated attorney and an advocate for adaptive sports. From navigating the road to paracycling to mastering both physical and mental performance, Kai opens up about the highs, the challenges, and everything in between. We will explore what drives him, the unique demands of training and competing at the elite level, and how he continues to break barriers both on and off the race course. Whether you are an athlete, an advocate, or simply someone who believes in the power of human potential, this episode will leave you inspired. Kai, welcome to Zone to Speak.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here today.
Awesome. So am I. What was your first moment of, I want to be a Paralympic? Was it a person, a race, a moment? I know, like I come from triathlon and I used to just do yoga and running, like a normal person. And when I saw an Ironman live, I was just like, oh my gosh, I was so inspired. I was like, I had a high and I really wanted to do it. Of course, it took me it was a little bit of a journey to get there. But anyways, what's your story? What's your aha moment?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I didn't think I realized that like the Paralympics really existed pre-amputation, honestly. For me, it didn't really kick in until like my amputation was in 2012. Um, and then so soon after, it was September 2012, and then I started getting into cycling around 2015. And then 2016 was the Rio Paralympics. So I think I was just watching TV, and then that happened to come on, and it would have been August of that. Uh, so that made me realize there was like this entire category of sports that like wasn't commonly broadcasted. But nowadays with social media and everything, it's a lot easier for people to discover new things and new avenues. So it was definitely like I think Instagram had a huge influence on me discovering parasports again. Because definitely when I first started getting to cycling after the amputation, because I didn't really ride bike before the amputation. The only adaptive athlete that I really knew of was, I'm blanking on the name, but he was a dual below the knee amputee runner from I think South Africa. Um, so that was it. I didn't realize there was anything outside of running. So discovering the Paralympics in 2016 really opened up a whole new world for me in terms of that sport. And I've always been an athlete growing up. I did martial arts growing up. I played soccer, tennis, etc. And I ran cross country, track and field. But yeah, I think cycling was the one thing that I think really struck a core with me, and I fell deeply, deeply in love with it.
Well, awesome. It's awesome to have in our community. And I wish there was more coverage on paracycling or any type of parasports because I personally love it. I think I even more inspired because it's hard to imagine um, going through that type of diagnosis and overcoming, and then I don't know. You correct me if I'm wrong, but almost starting from scratch and thriving.
Yeah, I think it definitely depends on like how you enter the sport. Because I know a few adaptive athletes, or let's say adaptive cyclists who, um, there's this really strong cyclist in Minnesota called Mitch Dreckey. He was like a Cat 1-2 racer before he got into a car accident, and that's how he became a cyclist. So
Okay.
I think it's definitely different. Whereas like I discovered cycling after the amputation,
After.
so I never knew what like competitive cycling was with like two good legs, you know. So like I think it's definitely different depending on like how you enter the sport and where you enter the sport. Because like I became so much more active after the amputation. Because,
Really?
yeah, so like I competed at rock climbing national champions, Paris national champions back in 23, which was really fun. I didn't really rock. I never rock climbed before that really. Um, and then uh, this year I'm gonna, start doing triathlons, which should be really fun. But yeah, I hated swimming growing up. I mean, I still don't like swimming.
Yeah.
I
I
don't know
think
if you
most
ever
triathletes don't like the swimming unless you come from a swimming background. We're all like, okay, today I gotta swim.
yeah. So like, I do think that I became more active post than I was pre, which is always fun.
Yeah, it's good to see you smile.
Yeah.
So tell me, you mentioned these other cyclists, Cat One. So, what was your journey getting into cycling, and what's your classification now? What are some of unique aspects of training and racing in your category?
Yeah. So for paracycling, internationally, I think there are what's called 13 different classifications. So within each parasport, you have different classifications, which tries to do their best on grouping people with similar disabilities with each other.
Okay.
Right? So within cycling, you have 5 classifications for hand cyclists, age 1 to 5. You have 5 classifications for uprights, C1 through 5. You have, I believe, 2 for tricycles, and then you have 1 for tandems, which is for like visually impaired. So that makes it 13. I'm considered a C4, so below knee amputees, single below knee amputees, pretty much all fall under C4 unless they have another disability that might bump them up or down to C3. And then a lot of the other athletes in my classification, I think drop foot is a common one because you don't have control of your calf, I believe. I'm not entirely sure about that. But every year, the USA Paralympic Cycling, they host what's called a classification event where like athletes come and get classified into what, classification they should be competing. And then based on that, you have different events. So for cycling, in paracycling, there's only road and track. I don't do any track stuff. But for road, you have time trials and road races. So in the C's, C1 and C2 do 15-kilometer time trials, give or take, plus 2 kilometers. C3 will sometimes do 15 or sometimes do 30. I feel like they've been switching it around lately. And then C4 and C5 do 30K. And then on the road races, it's usually around like 40K for C1 dudes. And then C3s are once again split in the middle. Sometimes they'll do the C1 2 distance, sometimes they'll do the C4 5 distance, and C4 5 distance is usually around like 60 70K.
Okay.
And then I think what's unique about paracycling that a lot of people don't know, which I found super interesting, is that like the C4-5 road races will race together across the 2 different classifications, and the way to tell who's in your classification is by helmet color. So for paracycling, you have specific helmet colors depending on what classification you're in. So luckily C4 is white. All my helmets are white already, so I didn't have to buy a new helmet.
Nice.
But yeah, one of my friends is a C3, and he had to go out and like, I think initially he just painted his helmet blue. So
That's funny.
yeah.
And did they put the categories together just to have more people, or would you know?
Domestically, I think it does help having more people.
Yeah.
There aren't that many paracyclists to compete nationally. So it's always more fun racing with more people, whether or not they're in your category or not. Internationally, the fields are much bigger, but I do think that having like an 80-person field is way more fun than having a 40-person field, especially because you're racing across different classifications. You can look at the helmet colors and say, all right, I can work with them because they're not in my classification. So you could have a break between like a C3, C4, C5.
Yeah.
So it makes for a very interesting dynamic when it comes to road races. I haven't done an international race yet. My first one will be in 3 weeks. So I'm really stoked for that.
Nice. Where is it?
The time trial is going to be Austin, Belgium. And then the road race will be in Bruges. Sorry for butchering the pronunciation.
I wouldn't be able to tell either. Oh, that would be so much fun. How exciting. And then the results of that is that to qualify for the Olympics, or is it Paralympics, or is that too early still?
It's a bit early, but it does help gauge where everyone is at. It helps determine who is on the U.S. national team. So the U.S. national team, they'll look at World Cup results, Paracycling World Cup results, Paracycling World Champion results, and like some domestic U.S. results, like the U.S. Paralympic Time Trial Open, and sometimes they'll also look at paranational as well.
I had it on the podcast, Jakob Van Gas. He lost, oh my God, now I don't know if he's the right or left, but he lost his part of his arm in battle, and he's a Paralympic champ. So it was very nice also to he share his story. Okay, so Stupid question.
Hmm.
Does your training differ from regular cyclists? Like, is it any different? I wouldn't think so.
It's still back to the same. You still have your zone twos, your VO2 max, sprint workouts, sweet
Right.
spot tempo, etc. Um, I do try to pay a bit more attention to off the bike workouts due to like muscle imbalances between my right and left leg. I think
Yeah.
there's a few inches difference in circumference between my right quad and left quad. Um, so
So the
it's
left is doing more work.
the left is doing more work. So I have power pedals. So it's nice getting a power split and it's usually like 70-30, which is why
Wow.
um,
Wow.
on good days it'll be like 65-35. But definitely the left leg doing a lot of work. I try to pay attention to a bit more like yoga and stretching and strength workouts on the right leg. Um, I think one thing I used to do a lot was like single leg drills on the trainer, uh, just so that I can make sure the right leg is working and building up, getting a smoother pedal stroke on the prosthetic side versus uh, just like the biological. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense. And everybody that I talk to, there's so much talk. I mean, it's nothing new on, yoga or flexibility work. I just went this Sunday to a yoga and brunch event and it was so much fun. And I'm really going to try to do more. Really, really going to try to do at least once a week.
yeah,
I'm
that's what
so
I'm at.
bad at it. I'm so bad. I get excited and I want to do it, but I can't get consistent.
Yeah, I'm right now. I'm probably like consistently once a week. And I'll stretch the second time in the week, but I do really should get better at like incorporating strength and yoga into my routine like over the entire season instead of just like
Yeah. 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 But, we also have lives and we got to keep on also being kind to ourselves and say we can't do it all. But
yeah.
you are on the trajectory to the Olympics. So that's what
Hopefully,
I'm gathering. You Paralympics. Sorry,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah. I mean, yeah. The goal is to make the LA 28 Olympic team. That'll be a dream come true. No, I'm not gonna lie. But there's definitely a lot of really strong competition. I think right now, especially in paracycling, we had a huge influx of new paracyclists, which is fantastic for the sport. It's
Yeah.
super nice, like going to a race and not having more than like one person to compete against. It's super fun. Even like you know, there was a gravel race I think last year or 2 years ago at Mid South, and I didn't make a podium, and I was so happy about that because it meant there were enough people I was racing against that I couldn't make a podium. I think
Yeah.
so. I think especially right now in paracycling,
Competition drives you too.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
I wanna. Yeah, I think you work harder sometimes because depends on your mindset, but growth
Right.
mindset, obviously, you're
Yeah,
happy that there are more people joining, and you're happy to have competition and get
yeah.
stronger.
No, especially like right now, there's a really strong C4s and C5s in the U.S., which is fantastic. It's always nice having people to chat with. Everyone's super tight knit and close. Even though we are competitors on the sport, we all talk. Um, like especially with the social media, like we always just chat and check in with each other once in a while. So it's super nice.
That's wonderful. That it's a tight community. Really
Yeah.
cool. So, what is a typical training week for you?
Um, yeah. So you know, it's finally spring in Chicago, which means race season has started. Uh, it's always interesting depending on where you are in the states that like the race season will start at different times. But March, end of March, marked the beginning of the Chicago race season. So we had Rough Road last weekend, and a lot of us were out at Barry Bay this past Saturday, which was really fun. But training week, so yesterday was just a recovery run. And this year is my first year because I'm starting triathlon to build more running and swimming into my routine. So this morning I did a strength workout and went on a recovery stint. Tuesday will be swim and a run. Wednesdays we'll do intervals. Thursdays will be zone two. Friday would depend on if I have a race on a weekend or not. So it might be recovery, it might be more than two. And then the weekends just depend on like if I'm racing. So there's two trips in Chicago this weekend. I haven't decided if I'm doing them yet, but that'll determine if I'm doing like a long ride this weekend or racing circles.
Well, are you doing the triathlon for fun or testing it out to see if it's something else you want to pursue more seriously?
Both.
Both.
I mean, I mentioned earlier I really don't like it. I'm a tough runner. But I did used to run cross country and track and field in high school, and I did enjoy that. I had a really good crew I was training with in high school. It was nice just building running back into my routine in general. And it all kind of lined up that like this year was the first year that so Illinois passed a bill that says that insurance companies have to cover sport specific prosthetic devices. So like before, I would have most likely had to either get a grant or pay for like a running blade out of pocket.
Wow.
And prosthetics go anywhere between like $15,000 to $25,000 for a below the knee prosthetic.
Wow.
So starting this January 1st, I was able to get a running blade through insurance. I mean, I still had to pay some, but like it added a whole new facet of activity back into my life. So I'm
really
just
good.
doing it for fun. I mean, I enjoy cycling, I enjoy running, so we'll see how much I can put on swimming.
Yeah, I mean, the swimming, it's all technique. So you just need the hours in the pool, probably some open water swim, because that's where you're going to be racing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I also was never a fan of swimming. It felt boring. Don't want to offend anyone, but that was my experience. And some days I like it was a love and hate. It turned into a love and hate relationship. You know, some days it's just like just have to do it. Other days I was very excited.
Yeah.
But I guess I wasn't great at it either, so it makes it hard, you know, to love when you are not good at it.
Oh, for sure.
But eventually, I got to a good time per 100 meter, and I was happy with it. And on the triathlon, you know, you just need to survive the swim. To win a race, you really need to have the bike and the run.
Yeah.
Because you can be the fastest swimmer, and if you don't have the bike and the run, you're not gonna make it to the podium.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see.
Exciting. Do you have a distance? You're starting with sprint or Olympic?
Sprint. So for para tries, it's all sprint. So
okay.
I'm lucky enough that like there's two para tri specific triathlons near Chicago. There's Leon, which is June 1st weekend down in Indiana, and then there's Pleasant Prairie, which is on the other side of the border in Wisconsin. And then Chicago Triathlon in August also has a para specific category. So it's nice having like more events that will have para specific categories. So it's nice just like gauge where I am compared to other people and also like, great.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
What does representation in sport mean to you, and how do you hope your story impacts others?
I just hope more people get out and start moving, right? I think movement is such a good way to like relieve stress. For me, it it's a stress reliever. It makes me happy. If I'm angry, I'll go for a ride. If I'm sad, I'll go for a ride or just move. I think movement is fantastic medicine for the soul and mind. This past weekend at Roubaix, I was talking to a 4-year-old and he was asking questions about my leg. Which is fantastic. I love like kids because they have
they're so honest.
barriers.
Yeah,
they're honest and they just want to know things, and it's great talking with them without having to like think about it, you know. And they have like this pure, genuine curiosity, and I think that like we need more of that in life in general. So I just hope like if I can get like one more person riding a bike, going for a ride, or just doing something, keeping themselves active, I think it'll lead to better life for everyone.
Couldn't agree more. I keep on nodding here. You know, nobody can see it, but I'm nodding and smiling back at Kai. I completely agree. And sometimes for me, to just even walking my dog, you know, change perspective, change the mood, or improve the mood. It's, yeah, nature, outdoors, sports moving your body. Yeah, so there's no better medicine.
There really isn't. It's also just such a good way to like explore your environment, which is how I got into cycling. Like I used to love driving. I still love driving. It's very convenient. But cycling, like I rode through neighborhoods in Chicago that would drive through in the past, and you just see so many new things. You interact with people more. You see like these cool things that like street corners that you didn't notice before, like a new restaurant or a cafe. And like whenever I travel, I try to bring my bike if I can because it's such a good way to get to know the local community and like the local neighborhoods and like see what people are doing. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. I do ultra cycling. So that's one of the things that I most love because you go to a destination and you're just riding for hundreds of kilometers and you really get immersed into the culture of if it's a
Mm-hmm.
new country, and you really get to see the everyday, people and how things are. And yeah, it the bike, you're moving fast enough
Mm-hmm.
that you can see a lot. It's not walking, but it's
Yeah.
slow enough that it's not as fast as a car.
Right.
So yeah, for me, there's no better way. Completely agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
And are there any specific ways you advocate for accessibility and inclusivity?
Yeah. So I started a nonprofit with a few friends. It's also my race team that I race with. It's called Indigo Cycling. So through the program, we do a bunch of different things. You know, like locally in Chicago, we host like group rides and we host practice games and practice races to get people into racing. There, we have discounted and free entry for like BIPOC women and stuff like that. And then we also have a race grant for paracyclists, for women, and for BIPOC, because racing is pretty expensive, just help
Yeah.
lower the cost. And on top of that, we work with different events. Um, so this year, we worked with Mid-South Gravel down in Stillwater, Oklahoma to give out free para entries. We worked with Rough Road in Morris, Illinois to give out free para entries. And we worked out with Barry Roubaix in Hastings, Michigan to give out free para entries. So like we're trying to work with like local organizers to help advocate and help like market the event, and also saying, hey, we want to get you out to these events. Tell us how we can help you get out. If you have questions about sport, we've all raced these sports before. We can tell you whether or not it's doable. And the answer is it's always yes, it's doable. There's going to be a few sections where you might struggle a bit, but like that's gravel racing, right? I think the
Yeah.
best part about gravel racing, particularly in the U.S., is that like, we're not bound by the strict structure of USA Cycling, which is like the national federation in the U.S.
Yeah.
Because that's just categories 1 to 5, split by male and female. But gravel, you have age group, people, you have non-binary, you have tandem, you have single seat, you have 5 bag, and now you have para. So it's nice. It's a lot easier for gravel events to slot in a new category. So it's been really fantastic working with them. And then also the last test ride in Whitefish, Montana, is a fantastic event based on a huge advocate along with Rebecca's Tyler, Idaho, and Petrum Sun Valley area.
Yeah, we had Jess on the show and she talked
Yeah.
about the last best ride. So let me just see. I don't know if I misunderstood, but
Mhm.
I get that it's easier for something that is not regulated to add a new category, and that's
Mhm.
wonderful. What an amazing, incredible work you're doing. It's incredible. Um, but federations don't have a para category already?
Not on the road. Most races don't have a dedicated area.
Oh,
Uh,
that's a shame.
yeah, I understand. So like, I used to uh host help host two crits in Chicago. I mean, we still do the practice, but like, I used to be part of the Intelligentsia series, and it's definitely difficult getting a nexus of cyclists to come out.
Okay.
Tour of America's Dairyland Code up in Wisconsin usually has a hand cycle category, which has been fantastic, but it's also just like difficult getting people to come out to an event, especially criteriums, where like there's always there's already a bit of a hesitation around like newer cyclists doing a crit because we're going around circles really fast. What if I crash or something?
Yeah.
And then, but adding like I think an additional barrier being para on top of it is definitely hesitant for some. Like even at the national level, we don't always have a national crit race. So like this year for 2025, we only have a time trial and a road race. We don't have a crit or para. Whereas last year we had road race, crit, and time trial, but the year before it was also just road racing, time trial. So I think even on the national level, crits are not. I think participation is always an issue.
Okay.
So
And
I
it's a
could
lot of
see,
preparation, I guess, to get
yeah.
everything.
So I think on the
And then,
local
yeah,
level for smaller event organizers, it's definitely difficult. I think to
got
get
it.
even like one paracyclist out, honestly. And honestly,
Got
racing
it.
by yourself for 30 minutes is not very fun going in circles.
Yeah.
So I just enter like the normal cat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 races. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Okay. Well, hopefully, with the work you're doing and getting more races to have this category and getting more people in with the free entries and also mentorship of how is this course and things like that to eventually have that category on more races.
yeah, that's cool, right? At least for gravel, I feel like it should be relatively easy for every gravel race
Yeah.
to have a para category, honestly.
Yeah, makes sense. So tell me about your time being in the US Paracycling Nationals. You are a 4-time US champion, national champion, right?
Yeah, so that's
How was your experience
uh,
like? 4 times.
yeah. I mean, it's fun. So like one of them was an esports national champion. That was the first one back in 22, I believe. Um, it was my first really esports race. So esports is its own interesting thing where like it's based partially on the algorithm and different because you don't have necessarily need like the technical skills to go around corners and timing, riding through corners and stuff like that. So that felt more like a pure power test. But the last two was nationals down in Augusta, Georgia, and nationals in um, Rock Hill, not Rock Hill, Janesville, Wisconsin. Uh, Augusta was brutally warm. It was,
Oh, I bet.
yeah, Georgia,
Hot and humid.
yeah, in August too, which was really fun.
Wow.
And there was a solid hill on a time trial course, which was insane. Um, so, but that road race was really fun because they combined the C4s and C5, so we had I think 6 people total in our race.
Nice.
And then it's also because it's always nice having someone to race against. So like it was cool working with people in other categories, eventually getting dropped and just seeing where I am across the entire spectrum. Because after a U.S. domestic race, they'll release a category or like an overall ranking of where you are compared to all the other paracyclists that race that day across all different classifications. Um, it's always fun just like meeting people and getting to talk to people because I feel like every single nationals event I go to, there's at least a few new paracyclists that weren't there the last year. And it's always a mix of like who goes, who doesn't show up. So it's nice catching people 1 year and then seeing them 2, 3 years later and just seeing what they've been up to and seeing how strong they've gotten because everyone's improving year by year and I feel like the times are getting faster and it's insane. Everyone's like working really hard for LA.
Yeah, it's crazy. The field is getting faster and faster for everyone. But I guess, in the paracycling, the community is even smaller. So yeah, I bet you see a lot of the same people every race. How was it like being on the podium and crowned like national champion?
I mean, it was a good feeling. I'm not gonna lie. It's I, partially it's like it's cool being recognized. I think it's definitely
Yeah,
when we
you put
talk
a
about
lot of hard work into it.
yeah, but it's also like talking about representation. Cycling, there aren't very many Asians in cycling, which is cool. the sport being recognized that way, and also paracycling on top of that. So it's definitely like validation for like the training that I put in, and then also training that others have put in. And, like huge thanks to like all the event organizers who do have paracycling categories, because I know it's extra work for them to talk and like negotiating with sponsors, saying, "Hey, we need an extra set of prizes for this and that, and everything." So I think it takes like a huge community to put on every single race, and even if just to add a single category. So
Yeah, that's true. So we talked paracycling, we talked triathlons. Anything beyond that? Is there any dream project or adventure that you would love to pursue?
oh, so you mentioned ultra cycling. I'm doing my first ultra cycling race this year.
Wow. Tell me more.
There's a race that starts in Chicago called the Michigami. There's two
Okay.
versions. The full Michigami. So Lake Michigan is the only Great Lake out of 5 Great Lakes that's entirely in the U.S. So the Michigami race starts in Chicago, goes all the way around Lake Michigan through Wisconsin, Michigan, Indiana, and back to Chicago.
Wow. How many
So
kilometers is that?
that's 1,000 miles.
Okay. So
I,
about 1,600 kilometers.
yeah, I'm doing half of it. So I'm doing about 800 kilometers. So
Which is a lot.
yeah, so you go up to Wisconsin, you take a ferry across the lake, and then you ride. Then that'll bring you to Michigan, and then you ride south from there, and then back to Chicago. So it's like 484 miles, I think, or something like that. So yeah, about 800K and about 10 to 11,000 feet of climbing, which I think just under like about 4,000 meters of climbing probably.
Okay.
So relatively flat for the distance, but it's a lot
Yeah.
of. But I was looking at the course yesterday actually, and it seems like majority of the elevation is in the last like.
I was going to say, don't be
4K.
fooled because sometimes, yeah, it's all at once or something like that.
It's a lot of rollers in Michigan. Michigan is not flat.
I like rollers, but when it's like severe, I mean, I don't mind long climbs either if it's nothing too steep.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I
wow,
mean,
exciting. Do you have like the bike bags? It's self-supported, I'm assuming.
it is self-supported. No, I don't have any like that.
Okay. So
I
you
mean,
need to
yeah,
get some.
yeah. Do you have any recommendations for my first ultra cycling event?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I would say have fun and don't bother what other people are doing, where they are on the map. I think for me, I mean, at least for me, motorcycling, it's all about the adventure. For sure, test everything that you're taking with you
Mm.
because it's a lot of kilometers and you don't want to be, you don't want to scratch, because of something you didn't test or something like
Mm-hmm.
lights, the bags, because some bags, can be need to fit your bike, need to fit your riding style so it doesn't rub on your knee or something like that, and
Mm-hmm.
easy to access so you can open and close things.
Yeah.
What else? Eat everything you want on the way because you're going to need all the calories possible. And yeah, you know, what power banks to charge everything, a good bike light,
Mm-hmm.
safety first, and at night, you
Yeah.
obviously you need some light. Oh my gosh, you're in for a treat. We need to chat afterwards. I want to
Yeah.
know how you went.
My goal is to not sleep during it. So
Ooh, wow. You can do it. Yeah, I never done it. I need to sleep. So I
well,
think every ultra cyclist I have on the podcast, we talk about what is your sleep strategy. Some people sleep very little and smash it during the day, and others just smash it and don't sleep.
yeah. So I mean, I do plan on sleeping, but like it's gonna be built-in sleep. So because of the ferry ride, the ferry leaves at 1 a.m. and
Okay.
it'll get to the other side, I think around like 5 or 6 a.m. So
Oh,
that's
great.
about
So
like
you,
3 4 hours of built-in sleep, and then I'll do the last like 280 miles. Hopefully,
that will
go
be a
sleep.
long day on the bike.
Yeah,
You can do it.
yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be a challenge.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, looking forward to it.
Really cool, really cool. And I know you're sponsored by Salt Sticks, so bring all the salt sticks
Oh yeah,
you
there'll be a
can.
lot of stuff there. It's been great working with them for sure.
Yeah. Um, okay, so just some fun, hopefully fun questions.
Hmm.
You have a personal love for bubble tea.
Yes. Oh, bubble tea, so good.
Is this your go-to indulgence?
When I'm off the bike, yeah. When I'm on the bike, it's actually shaved ice or a slushy. Um, Especially like after a long ride. Like, yes, a coffee stop is nice, but going to like a gas station and getting a slushy or going to a shaved ice store,
Oh, that
you,
sounds
you,
good.
you get sugar, it cools you down. Like, it's water, it has everything you need as a cyclist.
Yeah, that's ultimate. Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree. I agree.
yeah.
Yeah, the US is amazing because of that. That's one thing on your ultra. Hopefully, you go through a lot of gas stations, because some
Hmm.
destinations are more challenging than others, but
Yeah,
US gas stations are top resupply spots.
yeah. Like, I know I can get every gas station. I can pick up protein bars, I can pick up Gatorade, I can get a slushy, I can get a hot dog
Yeah,
probably or a pizza from Casey's. Um,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
you're good. Travel tales. You have traveled to various places and for competition and leisure.
Hmm.
Is there a particular destination that left a lasting impression on you?
Oh yeah, easily. So like, we were just talking about Jess and the last episode. Uh, I think
Oh,
that's easily like my favorite groundhog ride. Every single year I try to go. So this year will be my third year going. Whitefish is beautiful town. The locals are super friendly. They're always super happy to have us. Jess does a lot of good for the community through her scholarship. And then the location, you're like 30 minutes in Glacier National Park, which is also like my favorite national park I think in the U.S. Um, and then from there, I biked to the Canadian border because that's 20-ish miles from Glacier, I want to say. So like,
wow.
it's a huge, great way to spend a week, and then just a few hours off that you have Yellowstone and Grand Teton. So like, I'm like in love with the Northwest. Um,
It is
yeah,
beautiful.
it's gorgeous.
Yeah, I've been to Montana once. I drove cross country from New York to San Francisco and then did a detour.
Yeah.
Went a little bit more north and yeah, gorgeous.
So,
How about culinary adventures? You are a Chicago native. Do you have a favorite local dish?
oh, that's so hard. Um, I like soups a lot.
Really?
Which isn't like a Chicago specialty. Like Chicago's known for hot dog,
The dip
uh,
dish. Yeah,
yeah,
pizza. Yeah.
both are good at times, but like I love soups in general. So like if I'm going somewhere, like a noodle soup or like chicken and rice or like something soupy, French onion soup, I just a good soup. Usually a bit salty. There's always protein in there. There's usually you can get carbs in there. Um, and the soup itself brings the hydration. But I don't know. I love eating soup the night before a race.
There's no wrong, right or wrong answer, so it's
Yeah,
all good.
yeah, like soup is so good. Easily number
Yeah,
one type of food for me.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it too. It's nice. Yeah, not my favorite, but I do love soup. Yeah. How about, are there any books or authors that have influenced your perspective on sports or law since you're an attorney or in life in general?
I would say just in life in general, I'm a huge fan of Malcolm Gladwell. So he's a former journalist. He's published a lot of books. He has a podcast called Revisionist History. And then he also, through Christian industry, he runs a lot of other podcasts and stuff like that. I really like the way he tells stories. So I've read all of his books, and the book, like the way he tells stories, he goes through like, I think I would describe his type of writing. His genre is like social psychology. I find that to be fascinating, describing like how humans behave and why they behave in certain ways. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I would say the favorite author probably like Malcolm Gladwell.
Yeah, I like him too. I haven't read all his book, but I'm really into human behavior and psychology. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm a fan. Well, we talked already about future aspirations, but is there anything else, any personal or professional goals you're excited to pursue in the coming years?
yeah.
Anything
So
I missed?
this year, have fun at triathlon. See where that takes me. Um, I'm going to Belgium end of the month, So, enjoyed my first international race. Also, my first time on mainland Europe. I've never been to, I've been to Ireland, but
Cool.
I haven't been to Europe, continental Europe. So I'm super looking forward to that. My first ultra race, which will be really fun. So I think this year's going to be a year of trying out new things and giving my shot at everything. Yeah, and then practically building my career as an attorney. So much to do there. My firm has been very generous and very supportive of my cycling career, which is
That's
really nice.
great.
So it's hard to get that up, and also the partners and the other associates that work with us. So,
Awesome. Well, you have a lot to look up to, and so much positive things happening. I will certainly be following your journey. And once you get here to Europe, if you make it to Spain, let me know. I mean, Spain is a huge country, but Girona, which is a big cycling destination. So if you
it's on my
get here,
bucket list. Girona is
okay.
on my cycling bucket list.
Well, just take a train from Belgium and get here.
Yeah, not that hard.
Kai, it's been wonderful get to know you, and thanks so much for sharing all your insights and your experience. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been super fun chatting.
And that's all for today's episode. I want to thank the listeners for tuning in. Your support means everything. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider following, leaving a review, and sharing it with your friends.